Okay, so I'm this is week 2, and I am in the process of constructing this week for students, and I wanted to make a video of the lab that we are doing. So if you are absent on the 24th or the 27th or the whole week, this video will help you do our work, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into the computer lab or computer carts, and we're going to be setting up our Google Sheet for our lab. We're going to be collecting data on Wednesday, and then we're going to be finishing the lab and doing our lab analysis on Friday. So if you're absent any of those days, then this video will be for you. So the first video is August 24th, setting up our Google Sheet. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to go to this lab called Infiltration Lab on Tuesday. You're going to click on that, and it says click here for your lab template. Now everybody in KDISD has a Google account, so it's going to say, do you want to make a copy? And you are going to say yes, and it is going to take you to, I'm going to move this around a little bit, to a Google spreadsheet that looks something like this. Now I've kind of moved things around a little bit. If you look at the top, you've got a title here. Once you make your copy, you can call it whatever you want. As soon as you've downloaded this, or uploaded it, I should say, through Canvas, it's automatically going into your Google Drive, your school Google Drive. You've got a blank page here, and then you've got these tabs at the bottom. Now the way Google Sheet works is it's really kind of an infinite spreadsheet. Each cell holds a number or a set of instructions for numbers, and this is very useful for collecting data, compiling them in tables, and then doing data analysis. We can do all kinds of charts and graphs and everything here. Now the way I've set this up is that we're on page 1. This is the tab. So tab 1, lab write-up. This is where you're going to put everything as you work. This is the instructions for day 1, instructions for day 2, and instructions for day 3. So all of this will be available to you, and we're just going to follow the instructions day by day. Now what I want to show you first is what we're looking at. What are we going to create? We're going to create a lab write-up in Google Sheets. Here's a copy of the key. We've got a title, a date, which you're going to put in, a guiding question or problem, which is, can vegetation improve water infiltration in flood-prone urban areas? A hypothesis is, if vegetation is added to a green space, flooding will increase or decrease, and you're going to have to decide what you think. We will then have a table of data, which will lead to a smaller table of data, in which we will create a bar graph and answer some questions. That is the entire write-up. So you're going to take an empty spreadsheet and create all of this on there. So let's go back to this empty sheet. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the instructions for day 1. This is August 24th, and it tells you exactly what to do. So there is a background information in this. It says that infiltration rates are a measure of inches per hour of how fast water will percolate through the soil. The presence or absence of vegetation may affect these rates. Soils have rapid infiltration rates or high value in inches per hour. They can absorb more water. They're more like a sponge. For urban areas, this means less runoff and therefore less flooding. In this lab, we are going to measure the infiltration rates of the soil in the Tiger Prairie and compare this to a turf grass site. So, instructions. You'll be following the instructions in this sheet to create your lab write-up in Google Sheets. I will walk you through all of this. At the bottom of your spreadsheet, you have multiple tabs. We talked about this, and these are the sections that we need. Okay, first thing we would want to do is create a title. Now, the first thing I want to show you is that Google Sheets has these cells, right? And they're really meant to enter in numbers or calculations of numbers. If I type like this and just keep typing and hit enter, I can actually, that is all in one cell. I could come to this cell here and do the same, and so on and so on. The cells overlap with each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to, when we do writing or any kind of text entry into a Google Sheet, I like to use the insert drawing and basically create a text box. Okay, so we're going to do that, and I'm going to put my text box here. Sorry, I'm going to bold. I'm going to write title. Okay, and I am going to put the title is Infiltration Rates of the Tiger Prairie versus a Control Site. So I'm going to take off my bold. Infiltration rates of the Tiger Prairie versus a control site. Enter. Oh, sorry. Save and close. When I do that, it's going to create a text box. I can move that anywhere I want. So I'm going to line it up nicely at the top of my spreadsheet, and there I have it. Okay, let's go back to our instructions. What else do we need? Leaving one space at a date. I'm going to type date, semicolon, and a date. Now, what I can do, I can either make them separate text boxes, or, sorry, if I want to, I can go back here, and I'm going to go space. I'm going to make this bold, date, and this is 8, 24, / 2021. Okay, save and close. All right, what's the next thing I need? The next thing I need is I want a guiding question. Now, what this does is it allows us to understand what is it we're trying to ask? What problem are we trying to solve? So the next thing we're going to do is a guiding question. Now, I'm going to give you a little hint here. This is a text box, right? So if I want to, I can highlight. So I'm taking this, I'm pressing down the left hand key, dragging, lifting. I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy, I'm going to leave this, go here, double click on that, and then I'm going to right click and paste. So I don't really want that, so I'm going to get that out of there. So I can either retype it, or I can go into any text box, I can highlight, copy, and paste it into another section, and I don't have to, and that should have a question mark, I don't have to actually retype it. You do it how you would like. Okay, save and close. All right, so there I am. What else do I have to do? Now I want a hypothesis. You have to choose what you think. So we're going to look at a site that has vegetation and a site that does not have vegetation. And we're going to look at the infiltration rate, or how fast water goes into the soil. And when we do that, if we need to look at, do you think vegetation, if I have vegetation in a green space, that water will go into the soil more quickly or more slowly? And subsequently, depending on what you think the answer is, slowly or quickly, will it increase or decrease flooding? So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to put my hypothesis, but I'm not going to answer it. So remember, you have to put what you think. I'm going to right click, copy, save and close. I'm going to go back to my sheet, double click on the text box, one space, and I can hit Control V. Again, I don't want that number, so I'm going to look like that. So there it is, all lined up really nice, and I can hit save and close. So there's the first part of my write-up. What do I want to do next? Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to create a data table. Now, in this case, we don't want to use the text function. We actually want to use the cells individually as they are. All right, so, but again, I have this here. All I really have to do is left click, drag, right click, copy. I'm going to go to here. I am going to type, actually let's go here. First thing I need to do is click data because we want data in our text box. But again, I don't want to put my table, but right under here, maybe I put it here, maybe I put it here. I can then right click, paste, and there it is. There is the beginning of my table. So what I'll do is I've got prairie site, time per second, time in minutes, time in hours, and then we're going to go all the way to inches per hour. And then we've got turf grass, time in seconds, time in minute, time in hour, and inches per hour. So on your lab write-up sheet, at the end of August 24th, your lab should look just like this. Tomorrow, we're going to go collect some data and see what we find out.